I'm gonna start talking about this more. Um, I know it's hair on my face, and I know that this look ain't the tea for a lot of y'all, but this is this is self care. This is practicing loving me, however I show up. And it's taken me a long time to get to this space. It's taken me a long time to get to this space. So right now, I want to ask the ancestors on this good day to allow me to speak with thoughtfulness and from a place of peace and personal reflection. I want to start off by saying that this is my perspective. These are my thoughts. And someone said that I was biased. And I want to be clear that when someone is stating their opinion, you your opinion speaks to your biases. Like that's why we have an opinion to express our biases. The stuff that we like and the stuff that we don't like. Your opinion expresses your biases. Like people be learning words and don't really grasp. Hey, right. Hey, Aaron. Like people don't understand that that is the whole point of an opinion. Okay. So, and a lot of people think that I don't like T.S. Madison. I want to be clear. I struggle with her as a mirror because I think that we are drawn to mirrors of ourselves, um, other variables or versions of ourselves, and that is a being that I am drawn to on this plane, whose mirror I struggle with looking in, and that's fine if people feel the same way about me. Some people look at me and see crooked teeth. I'm HIV positive. I've done drugs. I've been homeless. Um, I'm queer as fuck. I'm untraditional and unorthodox as fuck. So when people look in the mirror and they see this example of blackness, this example of melanin, this example of queerness, this example of femininity, this example of being HIV positive, this example of being trans, this example of being southern, this example of just this example of so many more things like femininity, like um creativity, like when you look in this mirror, I'm sure a lot of people see things that they don't want to see, you know um but does that make me mentally ill because I don't maneuver in the way that you maneuver? I don't show up in the way that you show up. I don't i don't value the same things that you value. I don't communicate in the same way that you communicate. I don't express myself in the same way that you express yourself. Does that make me mentally ill? Does that give you now leverage? Does that now give you the right to weaponize the way that I maneuver, the way that I show up, the way that I express myself, how I identify? Does that does that now give you permission to weaponize your perception of my mental stability against me? And the thing that the thing that gets me as a deeply melanated ebanoid person who feels connected to all of these land masses, you know, on this plane. Africa, the United States, America, Turtle Island, whatever Africa was before that. As a person who feels connected to all of this, I I often wonder people who call people mentally ill because I've heard T.S. Madison on more than one occasion say things that was questioning the mental health of the other person, the mental wellness, the mental stability of another individual. I've also heard Armand Wiggins speak about the mental wellness of other black people as well. And it always, I always find it particularly odious, odd, peculiar when other black queer people weaponize mental wellness against other black queer people. I find it interesting. I beat some guys up because I was gay. I got beat up by some guy. How do I do that? You think I'm finna set up here and tell you how to go and get revenge on some people? I'm not finna give you that advice. I'm not finna go tell you how to get revenge. I'm gonna pray for you if you decide to follow through with it. Want you to be safe in anything that you decide to do. But with everything that we have to navigate in society, the choices that we make, the choices that we have to make, I question the mental stability of people who are pretending like ain't nothing wrong with them. I question the mental stability of individuals who put on this front like they always got it together, they always own everything. It's always clicking up here. You know, every day is a own day for you. You always good up here. Like you don't have no struggles. You're navigating a reality that is many times demeaning to women. So if you're showing up as a woman in any way, shape, form, or fashion, you already know you got to try extra hard to fit into this idea of what it means to be a woman. And you mean to tell me that's not ever stressful for you? Being a woman, being a black woman, and never seeing a black woman as the president of the United States or holding the highest positions in the church, that you good with that? You good with that? You good with that? It ain't your mental stability. You're not messed up about none of that. I mean, there's a laundry list of things that I could name for people who identify as men, people who identify as women, people who identify as queer people, and just happen to be melanated in this reality. There's a laundry list of things that I could name that would speak to why a person might have an off day, why a person may may not be functioning at optimum capacity. Like there's a laundry list of things that I can name in a patriarchal society and a mono that practices a monotheistic religion that exalts the masculine form and masculine pronouns. Like there's a laundry list. Wait a minute, hold on, because they about to start whining. Wait a minute. The screaming is a there's a laundry list of things that I could talk about that 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 speak to why a person might not be on it all the time. Why a person might not always make the decision that you would expect for them to make or the decision that you feel like they should make. And it just I don't know. I wanted to do this video because I wanted to talk about how we talk about mental illness. Like it's crazy. Like y'all always talking about how we done been through slavery, how we gotta work 10 times as hard to catch up with white people. Y'all always one side of y'all mouth, y'all talking about everything that black people done been through. But at the other side of your mouth, you're weaponizing the trauma that this created in our DNA as mental illness. The stress that a person has been through, the struggles that a person has been through, the experiences that a person have had, y'all calling it mental illness. How their response to it. And you know what? I don't call it that. I just look at it as we process information differently. I could be looking at the same message you looking at. I could be getting the same message you getting and interpreting something totally different from that. Does that mean I'm slow because I didn't see what you saw? Or because I didn't look at the picture and see the same thing you saw? Or because I didn't interpret the information in the same way that you did? Does that mean does that's reason for you to weaponize or even my response to that? Like if I'm looking at information and how I choose to respond to that information, I might jump up and down and start screaming and hollering. Another person might look at the information and start singing. Another person might look at the information and start dancing. Another person might look at the information and want to talk about it. Another person might look at the information and want to write it down. Somebody might want to do a video because we didn't respond to that information in the same way you did. We retarded. We dumb. Something wrong with us. Is that what y'all saying? Because it's not making no sense to me. It's not making any sense how black people understand that we all have different experiences and that we've all been through some things that are associated with PTSD, trauma. Like, we all have been through something. And me personally, every day is a struggle. Baby, I be trying to hold it together every day. Every day. I be trying to hold it together. Every day. Every day. Every day. I be trying to make sure I don't hurt nobody or hurt myself. Yeah. And some days, I might have to eat a greasy pork chop and say something about somebody. I might have to jump online and call some shit out. That may be how I navigate it to keep the shit from escalating. Amen, a woman. To keep from holding on to that, to keep that energy from festering inside of me until it becomes something that is really ugly. Till it becomes something that's really dangerous. Then y'all will really be saying that bitch is a psycho. Baby, let that girl jump on live and run her mouth. Baby, and then this is what gets me about black people. They'll be saying, "Oh, you could get out and work. You lazy. You don't want to work. You don't want to do nothing." And I'm not gonna say this is true for everybody because they got some people in all ethnic backgrounds that are lazy. That's just the truth of the matter. They got people in every background that is lazy as hell. But let me tell you something. Sometimes people are just not equipped. Wait, hold on, because I might be gonna walk too far away. Sometimes people are just not equipped to damn deal with society. Wait, I gotta find my light. Yeah, sometimes people are just not equipped to deal with things in the same way that you would deal with them. Like literally, some people just don't have the capacity, and so y'all see a person that's to learn how to mask their trauma. They know how to make themselves look good when they get out in the public. They keep themselves together. Keep their hair combed. Wash their face, make sure they do their hygiene and stuff like bathe and all that type of stuff. And they good. They was brought up in a way where they was able to present themselves in a way that's socially acceptable to society. Now, the thing with a lot of black people is you gotta be obviously thrown off. You gotta look like you gotta, and that's the same way the system is. You gotta look obviously thrown off. Like you gotta look like you have been through the storm and the range. You gotta look like you been smoking crack for 4 years. You've been eating junk food from the dollar store. Your clothes ain't washed. You smell pissy. You got snot running from your nose. You gotta look like you have just been abandoned by family and community. You gotta look like a grown child that have never learned how to take care of themselves in order for people to say they might be having a little challenge. They might be having a little struggle. Like if you can look the part, like if you could look like everything is good, like if you could put on this mask like everything is good and go out into the world and maneuver from that space, people be thinking you good. People be thinking you fine, and then they'll say stuff like, "Yeah, cause you need to get a job, cause you lazy, you don't want to work." And I think that this is why slavery was able to be so successful, because you have people in society that will try to shame you for just not having the capacity or the bandwidth to navigate this reality and not do something that's going to land them in prison. See, y'all be thinking that some people not working and y'all having to pay them little SSI checks. Y'all be thinking that y'all doing people a favor, giving them not even a living wage to stay at home and to stay out y'all way. When truth be told, if some of these people, you know, they tried to go to work and they tried to do those jobs and they tried to function in those spaces, it would be casualties. It would be collateral damage. It would be some atrocities. If some of these people that y'all be fussing at saying they lazy and they need to get a job, some of these people getting them SSI checks sitting at home, if they was to try to live up to y'all expectations based off their appearance and they was to get up in there and go to work, some of these people who choose to do sex work rather than go in these conventional jobs, some of these people who choose to stand on the corner and sell drugs, which is no different than what the pharmacy doing, it's just unorganized. It just ain't got the law behind it. And in some cases, it do have the law behind it. But I digress. But if some of those people who were selling drugs and doing sex work to maintain, and some of those people who was doing all of these things that y'all have stigmatized and condemned, if those people was to give up what they was doing and go and get a regular job and go into work to navigate in that toxic ass environment, oh child, it would be casualty, and it would be devastation. Repeatedly, consistently, and perpetually. And then y'all wouldn't be complain. Y'all will stop complaining about them little $800, them little $900 every month. Y'all will stop talking about that then. If a lot of these people that y'all was putting down saying, "Oh, you lazy, you don't want to do nothing with your life, you living off the government." No, like the way society is set up, not everybody has the capacity to navigate that. And it doesn't make them inferior to the ones that can. Like, we can have a conversation about it if you want to. We can talk about it because it could be argued on both sides. Y'all could argue they lazy and they don't want to do nothing with themselves. And if they were conscious enough, and if they were doing the work on themselves to know what was really wrong with them and why they are processing information the way they are and why they don't have the capacity that they need to navigate these spaces, then we would be able to have a conversation about how everybody who continue to get out there and bust their ass and make this matrix work and make this plantation work could be complicit in the oppression, the racism, the elitism, the classism, the misogyny, the capitalism. Like we could legit have a conversation about how a lot of y'all are complicit in keeping things the way they are. And so we could argue who's really mentally ill. We could have that conversation. I'm more than willing to, because I've been doing the work. But rather than have that conversation, which I would rather do, is call people mentally ill. Because we could argue on both sides. We could argue about how a lot of y'all who get up and you do what you feel like you supposed to do or what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You get up and you get out and you make ends meet and you get up on that plantation and you code switch and you play nice and you continue to do this and you say that you're doing it for the progression of society. But as we could see, it's not happening. Genocide is still a very real thing, and it's getting closer and closer to home. The cries of those people who are suffering overseas and around the world, their voices are getting louder and louder, and the internet is amplifying that voice. And so, guess what? A lot of these children, because they are being born in a world where they cannot be oblivious like you was as a child. They can't they can you can shelter them only for so long. And so once they are exposed to it, because they haven't been prepared for it, what do you think it's gonna do to their brain? What do you think it's gonna do to their mental to have to navigate us to a reality where genocide is a common thing? Oh yeah, it's genocide. Oh yeah, they over there killing people. They over there exterminating people for their resources, over racism, over colorism. Oh yeah, that's a normal thing. Oh, sex trafficking. Yeah, they be snatching your children, child. Yeah, that's a normal thing, child. You better watch your children. You better watch your cyber stalkers. You better, like, all of these realities that these children have to grapple with, and how are they being prepared for that? Because a lot of black people, we don't even want to talk about this shit. Pray about it. Go talk to Jesus. Ask your father to be with you. That's all you got for me. That's it. That's the extent of the wisdom. Oh, okay. And don't get me wrong, prayer is a powerful thing. Prayer is powerful. I'm here for prayer. I believe in prayer. But if you are praying, you should be praying for a more expanded conscious. You should be praying for understanding and and praying for a wisdom that helps you to see things from different perspectives, for you to be able to look at things from other people's point of view. Like, if your prayer is not expanding your consciousness, if your prayer is not expanding your awareness, if your prayer is not expanding your compassion, your ability to be compassionate and to be thoughtful, then what are you praying for? And who are you praying to, most importantly? Because a lot of y'all are just praying for things. And it does not take an infinite being, it does not take the creator of all to help you manifest that. Master could give you that. You ain't gotta pray to the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end for things. Man can give you that. Man can do that. Any random man can give you things. So, and that's all a lot of y'all pray for is things. So the question is, who's really answering your prayers? But we ain't gonna talk about that, is we? We ain't gonna have that conversation, is we? And this is why I am not. featured on the algorithm. This is why I don't be on all, people don't be inviting me on podcasts, and people don't be inviting me, in spaces where the message that I have can be elevated. Because the truth be told, a lot of black people is okay with racism. They okay with being second. They okay with how our mamas and our sisters get treated. A lot of the women even okay with it too. As long as they the special nigga. But when the cameras is rolling and people looking, it's Black Lives Matter. So I can't believe they did to that black person. You saw when Kelly had got mistreated over there? Child, we care about black people. The rich ones, the pretty ones. We care about them. We care about the rich, pretty ones. Baby, they could be ignorant. They could be toxic. They could be they could be fully in line with capitalism and white supremacy. We care about them. We care about them. Baby, oh, we don't you talk about our masters. Don't you talk about Beyonce. Don't you talk about Kelly. Don't you talk about Michelle Obama. Meanwhile, it's a homeless person going through all type of shit, and bitch, y'all stepping over them ain't got $1 for them. bitch, you, bitch, you look at them like you gonna get a disease if you touch a bitch. Baby, that motherfucking Black Power shit. Y'all need to stop it with that bullshit. Master gave me grant. Yeah, Master gave me grant. Master good. That's right. Thank you, one of the most intelligent girls out here. Thank you, JJ. When it comes to things, the ancestors will help you get things you would much rather get you those things on our own. Cause we could get the material stuff on our own. We don't need no heavenly creator, no divine being to help us get gadgets and gizmos aplenty and thingamabobs. Let me tell you something. You saw Little Mermaid. She had she said, I got gamos and gizzards aplenty. I've got whoozes and what's it galore. Where the fuck that shit came from? It came from the surface. It was falling underwater from the men. The men was dropping the shit underwater. When you get that from men, and motherfuckers be around here with big old fancy cars, living in big houses, gatekeeping all sorts of wealth, and then be given a divine creator, a creator that is responsible for shaping the universe, credit for your things. Child, stop. Child, the lies you tell and the secrets you keep. You giving the creator credit for something that's temporary, something that's not eternal. Baby, it was a song I used to like. My grandmother used to sing. He used to say, "Build your hope on things eternal." I don't remember. I don't remember the whole thing, but I definitely remember that. Build your hope on things eternal. Baby, that shit ain't eternal. That shit not lasting. That shit is not gonna matter when your body dropping. Y'all be around here giving credit for material things like that. That's how you know it's a game. That's how you know it's a game. That's how you know it's not real. When you're around here, you got all these things, And that's what you have to honor God for. Like when you thank God for something, maybe it need to be a miracle. And let me tell you something. What I thank my ancestors for, I thank my ancestors that I ain't lost my mind completely. That I'm still somehow grounded. I'm still somehow able to be a voice for other people. I'm able to be vulnerable and to share in a world that looks down upon that. And somehow, with limited resources, I keep experiencing beautiful things. I was in Africa for 9 months, and when I went over there, I did not have $5. I got on the airplane with $5. Now, mind you, when I got over there, I thought that I was gonna be able to have my check switched over there, so that I could have that resource when I got over there. But because I had never left the country on my own for such a long period of time, I didn't know that you had to get the card switched so it could work over there. I just thought, hey, we the colonizers. Our card work everywhere. That's what I thought. I didn't know that I had to get the card changed for when I went over there. So when I went over there, I didn't have no fucking money. I got off the plane with a book sack broke. And I made it. And not only did I made it, I I was treated better there than I'm treated here. And I still came back home. Now, that's what you thank your ancestors for. When you built for the things that you know other people couldn't handle. That's what I thank my ancestors for. That in spite of everything that I'm dealing with personally, everything that I got going on, somehow I still have a mind and a heart, and it's genuinely in me to want to show up for other people. Oh yeah, I'm taking more time to think about myself and to take care of myself, a man, a woman, but I still have it in my heart to show up for other people. And when I make these videos and I do these talks because I know how easily influenced I was. I know the lies that I bought. I don't regret anything that I have done with my life. I don't regret how my life has turned out. But if I would have had access to more information, knows what my life would have looked like. And so my platform is about, hey, I'm not just gonna let you think that this what it is. If you decide to do this because you want to do it. But I'm finna play the whole tape. I'm not just finna glorify it and make it all look good and tell you what you want to hear, so you don't have to know that, yeah, you're complicit in a lot of the continuation. Like, they got mad at Kanye West when he said slavery was a choice, but he said 400 years. Understand that the nation started in 1777. It still haven't been 400 years. So for what I got from that is, we still choosing to be slaves now. It's still a choice. And we're and I think we all have to serve something, but it's our choice what we choose to serve. And some people choose to serve comfort. And I'm not against you serving comfort. I'm not against you making sure that you comfortable, making sure that your family have wealth that they could pass down. I'm not against that. The problem, the issue becomes that because that's the choice you made, if I don't decide to do what you weaponizing my against me. If I don't want to get out and whoops and move like you move, somehow you have room to speak on my mental health. That's the problem. That's the issue. If you motherfucking keep your, like, literally, y'all out here, if it wasn't for Kanye West, if it wasn't for Jaguar Wright, if it wasn't for all of this stuff that P. Diddy is being accused of, what is this the result of? This is the result of mental health that has deteriorated because what we measured mental stability by was wealth and access. That's what we've been measuring mental stability by. We've been measuring mental stability by wealth and access. And everything that P. Diddy is being accused of is clearly the result of deteriorating mental health. But nobody cared because he had money. Nobody cared because he wasn't broke. R. Kelly, the stuff that's going on with him, it is the product of unchecked work that he needed to do on himself that he was not doing because the standard of acceptance and the measure in which we use the barometer or the stick in which we use to measure someone's mental health, to measure whether someone is well or they are okay, is things, material things. And y'all, the majority of society, has supported that shit. If you get out there and you works hard, works, you got to work hard for massa. And when you're burnt out and you're tired and you can't work no more, when you snaps and you starts to do things that's hurting folks, and you're starting to do things that's wrong to folks, when you starts to mistreating folks, what y'all say? Oh, now you're a rapist. You're a pedophile. You're an abuser. You're a murderer. But as long as they was getting that money, long as they was getting them big old checks from Massa Ups on the plantations, y'all was good. But then when they snapped, because I guess they had done something that they couldn't even forgive themselves for no more. The conscience grew and they started getting sloppy. They needed to drink more. They needed to get higher. They needed to they needed to get themselves more out of their bodies, so they started getting sloppy. Started getting sloppy. And in their sloppiness, the fall came. And y'all was waiting to tear them up and tear them down. But you was lifting them up when Massa was lifting them up. But when they got sloppy up on the plantation, and Massa said, oh, can't work with you no more, nigga. Nigga, you done got sloppy, nigga. You's a sloppy nigga. And I don't work, and I don't keep them sloppy niggas up in the big house with me. Sloppy niggas got to go back out in the fields. Cause you's a sloppy nigga. Huh? 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 Sloppy niggas. You done got sloppy, nigga. Cause you grew a conscience. You grew even in the midst of all of that. And you've been trying to shake back and get back how Master like you. Cause you want Master to love you. You need Master's approval. You need Master to have favor upon you. Cause everything you do for Master, people need to snap out the bullshit, materialism, and all that's needed in life is yourself, our own happiness within. Come on, JJ. Hmm. OMG. Yeah. 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 Let me tell you something. I have sought Jesus. Because, baby, when you're a spiritual person, you keep seeking. I've sought Jesus. I've sought Obatala. I've sought Oshun. I've sought Yemaya. Buddha. I even talked to Allah a few times. I call on all of my ancestors. A man and woman, Jesus. Jesus ain't enough alone. Jesus ain't enough alone. But if it works for you, I ain't yucking your yum. I'm thankful that Jesus worked for you. But Jesus, some of us choose to call Jesus by a different name. Our ancestors, Yahshua, Olukum. I mean, some of us call Jesus. Some of us say she. Some of us say mother, father. And I think that's a problem. Is that we think we all gotta talk about our creator in the same way and call our creator the same name. That sounds like a cult. And that sounds like a cult that's trying to manipulate and brainwash people not to be whole. Because if I'm living in another part of the world, if I speak a different language, why would I talk about Jesus the way you talk about it? Why would I talk about my creator the same way you talk about your creator? So, but if Jesus worked for you, and if Jesus is doing the trick, that's all that matters. I ain't here to yuck your yum. If Jesus is doing the trick for you, but Jesus didn't do the trick for me. Jesus was Jesus was like a foundation. Jesus was like Jesus was like elementary school. And I think you continue like in life. You continue to keep growing. Like Jesus was an elementary lesson. And then you gotta have, your junior high, you have your high school, you have Jesus is fundamental. A lot of things that Jesus taught was fundamental. I will not argue that. When you are focusing on the teachings of Jesus explicitly. But a lot of us think that because there are stories about Jesus in the Bible, that the whole Bible is about Jesus. But the whole Bible is not about Jesus. There's some chapters in there, quite a few chapters that center Jesus and focus on Jesus. But that story is about patriarchy. That story is about the brotherhood. So, yeah. But I have a book that you all are welcome to go and buy. It's on Writers Republic, and it's called um, Becoming Purple. It's my personal Bible of recollecting reflections, and you can find it on Writers Republic, and you could also find it on Amazon. I would prefer you go to Writers Republic because that's where they support me the most. And this work, I be traveling, I be getting around, and you need resources to move. Unfortunately, we don't live in a society like a lot of these other countries that really take care of their citizens and, give them clean water and give them health care and give them travel vouchers and yeah, we don't like like if you travel to other countries, like places in Europe and Germany and and all of these places where y'all talking about communism and stuff like Japan and Korea. Oh, honey, they taking care of their people over there. It's some strict rules. They got some strict rules over there, but they taking care of their people. They taking care of their people, and it's the thing. We got strict rules over here, and we still ain't taking care of each other. We get the scraps that fall off the table over here, and black folks have been so conditioned. And I don't think all of it's slavery. Because all of us are not the descendants of slaves. Let's be clear. I don't think all of it's slavery because all of us was not the descendants of slaves. So I don't think it's just a slave mentality. I think some of us just legitimately don't give a fuck about each other. I think some of us could just legitimately care less. You is not in my mind, at the place that I am in consciousness. You are not my concern. You are not my problem. What you do with your life is your business. I do not care. I am not invested in you or what you got going on in your life. That's goody for you. That's good. That's your issue. That's how a lot of black people legitimately feel. It ain't no. We always say it's the slaves mentality. It's the crabs in the bucket mentality. No. Some black people just don't give a fuck. Just like they got white people that just don't give a fuck. They got some people that just don't give a fuck about you. And more and more in this world, part of being able to separate yourself from situations does have to do with self-care. So I'm not saying don't take care of yourself. You can't walk around here with the weight of the world on your shoulders. So it is a difficult thing to find balance of caring about people, caring about what happens to people, but at the same time taking care of yourself and making sure that you're okay so that you can continue to be a model of what you want to share with the world. You can continue on modeling what you want to model to the world. But a lot of us, we be so caught up in the performance, and that speaks to how we don't care about people, because we'll sell people a dream and give people a complete performance all the damn time. And the performance may inspire them, the performance may entertain them, the performance may make them laugh, and laughter is some good ass medicine. But a lot of y'all don't tell people really honestly and truly, how do I make it every day? Like like y'all are not vulnerable enough to show people that you fucked up in a lot of ways, and that you going through something. Baby, y'all show people the meal when it's done, but sometimes it's more important to show people how the sausage is made. How do you maneuver? How do you cope with depression? How do you cope with self-consciousness? How do you cope with insecurity? How do you manage that? How do you navigate that? How have you survived racism? How have you survived sexism? What are the things that you have internalized as a black gay man, or a black lesbian woman, or a black trans person, or a black non-binary person? What are the things that you've internalized, and how are you navigating that? What is your response to that? How are you coping? And what are you modeling that's going to help with the discontinuation of the stigma that we face in all of those arenas? Like, what are you modeling? What is your contribute? What are you contributing to shift that energy? Or is that, the game is not to be sold, the game not to be told, the game is sold? Is that what that is? And so you're participating in oppression. You're suppressing information to participate in the oppression of your siblings. But Black Lives Matter, right? Like, not enough wealthy people, not enough successful black people, not enough are having those type of conversations. Everybody want to make you laugh. Everybody want to entertain you. Everybody want to help dumb you down, help you to become even more uh uh uh, uh help your attention span to decrease even more. And so that when someone comes on the internet and has something meaningful to say, or something and I apologize for that, because I'm not going to say the other stuff is not meaningful, but when someone else comes onto the internet and has something to say that might require a few more brain cells, that might be a little more complex to unpack, y'all won't call them crazy, because y'all don't have capacity. And to me, that's crazy. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say in this video. I'm gonna talk about mental illness more. I'm gonna talk about mental wellness more. This is gonna be an ongoing conversation, because I'm thrown off. And if I want to change how people look at people who throw it off, then that means I need to talk more about it, and I need to model that you could be thrown off and still want good things. You could be thrown off, you could be touched in here, and you could still be brilliant, you could still be powerful, you can still be compassionate, passionate, articulate. You can still be responsible. You can still be sovereign. You can still be authentic. You could be touched. You could be touched up here, not process information like other people. You may not follow the leader, go along to get along, and follow the herd. That may not be your narrative. You may dance to the beat of a different drum. And so I want to continue to model the capability and the ability to be able to show up and to be able to manage your mental health, to be able to manage your wellness. Baby, that was a big old ant that had chewed on me. I know that's right. Get you a little piece, ant. Get you a little piece, baby. You had wanted to take a little bite out of crime, huh? But yeah, anyway, let me go ahead and get off this live. Make sure y'all click like, because the algorithm be like, yeah. And God got us, bless Whitney, bless Michael Jackson, Prince, um, Dr. Sebi, Left Eye, all our ancestors who left, sooner than we would have Aaliyah, you know, um, living their dream, having the experience, carving that little space for them, and um, yeah. Bless them. I want to acknowledge them, and all my other trans sisters, Little Bit, um, Precious, Basha, Baby, Sassy, the one that lived in Mississippi, and so many of my other sisters. I want to just acknowledge, Janae and Turtle and Miss Richard and just all of y'all, so many more. And as Miss Phillip, I say your name, and if it's somebody who name that you want to say and you want to acknowledge in this video, and you want to just celebrate their life, during this month of Pride, and and they say Pride comes before the fall. And in closing, I want to unpack further what that means, because it's documented that with the rise of the LGBTQ community, it is the marker of the collapse of a civilization. So they say every time pride, every time the LGBT community is platformed and becomes more present, that is the indication that a civilization is about to collapse. And this is what I want to leave you with. Don't confuse civilization, don't confuse society with your people and with the world, because this was not even a society that many of us chose. This was not even a contract that many of our ancestors willingly agreed to. And so, if it was not a contract that our ancestors willingly agreed to, why are so many of you out here devastated over the possibility of a shift happening? Your ancestors didn't even agree to this anyway. Your ancestors never agreed to this civilization. Whether they were indigenous to this land or they came over on a boat. Now, if they were immigrants and they came over here of their own free will because there was a choice better than what they had, then that sound under duress. But at the same time, they chose to participate a little bit more than those of us who this land was stolen from, and those of us who was packed over here on boats. So if pride does come before the fall, and if this is an indication that culture is about to shift, that civilization is about to reconfigure itself, it's about to be a rebirth. If that's what's about to happen, I'm not in Africa right now, baby. It do look like Africa though, don't it? If if civilization is about to reconfigure itself, baby, what why black people why are queer people, why are black people, why are poor people, why are women, why are all of those groups that was not in there when that contract was being signed, the constitution was being written up by the first documented immigrants, the founding immigrants. If you wasn't in the room when they was forging that contract, when they was forging that constitution, why in the hell would you be fucked up about a shift? Cause it's always darkest before the dawn, and sometimes you have to. It ain't no sometimes. You have to go through the night in order to get to the day. Stop trying to put band-aids on this shit. Walking around here toting a jug of water with tape all around it, and water leaking out of every fucking hole, and y'all still trying to patch this shit up. No, boo. You still trying to put cocking shit, trying to cock up the holes and stuff. No. Nothing is meant to last forever. No season lasts forever. None. Like, stop trying to hold on to spring. Stop trying to hold on. I love Gemini season. Low key, I wish it could be Gemini season all year, but that's just not what's gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. If I could make it stay one season year round, it would be mine. It would be Gemini season. But it is not about to be Gemini season 12 months out the year. It's just not about to happen. Just like this is not about to be what it is till the end of time. Y'all can't hold on to the binary forever. You can't hold on to patriarchy forever. You can't even hold on to the American dream forever. It's selfish, it's narcissistic, and it's egotistical. And all the things that you bitches try to call me. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. None of it. Ain't none of this promise. Like Rihanna said. Oh man, friend, you had retracted your little messages, huh? But anyway, let me get off this live because I need to go and take a bath, baby. I am sweaty. I'm gonna go do me some crunches, work on this belly because this belly is bitch that look nasty. Girl, look at that. Just let me stop. Let me stop. I'm doing some fat phobic shit. Like I had a moment. I had to come back. I was doing some fat phobic shit. This is my personal journey. I'm trying to work on me, but I do want to be thoughtful of different types of bodies. Not everybody's body is the same. So, yeah, I'm working on that. I can work on my body without, fat shaming. Like, yeah, it's a little push there, and I want it to look different, and I want my body to be tighter. I want my arms to be tighter, and that's just a preference for me. But I'm not being fat phobic. A man, a woman. I'm working on me today. I'm working on me. I'm better, much better. Ooh. Anyway, down but down that I say cool. Turning in Gani, Yinko Kalukalo, which means I'm a child of God goddess. And if I am, you know you are. Remember to light your candles, a representation of past, present, and future, the true Trinity. A man, a woman, lay them, lay lur. I love y'all. And like I said, we're going to continue these conversations about mental illness because guess what, baby? We need to reverse that stigma. We need to play the whole tape, honey. You know, that's what I liked about growing up in the era of, having to listen to CDs and listen to tape cassettes. You had music on both sides, stories, information. It was on both sides. You got 60 minutes on both sides. You couldn't get all of the information or hear all the songs or get all of the messaging if you did not listen to both sides. And that's something that streaming has taken away from this generation. This ability to stream music does not help us to be less one dimensional. Um, I'm thankful for these days when things were multidimensional and they were tangibly multidimensional. And I'm just so thankful for being a baby that was born in the 70s. We were born in a special time where those little subliminal messages made all the difference. Tape cassettes that you had to listen to both sides. You had to hear both sides of things. And now, this everything's just so one dimensional. And that creates another challenge for these youth that are coming up now, because they're not they're not having to they're not receiving those downloads that encourage them to 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 have the ability to be dual minded in their thinking. It's not two-faced. It's called having layers. It's called being complex. It's called being multidimensional. Okay? A complex entity. Check that song out, honey. It's got over 200,000 streams on Spotify. Complex entity. And that's what you are. Don't never be ashamed of that. Love y'all. Have a good day. Take care. Be well. Happy Pride and happy Gemini season.